Echoes of the unknown. The crimson dust of Horizon 7 swirled around Commander Ryder Calloway's environmental suit, obscuring the jagged landscape of the most remote research outpost humanity had ever established. Situated on the very edge of explored space, Station Omega-9 represented humanity's relentless push into the unknown. Ryder's fingers traced the edge of a peculiar artifact recovered from the planet's depths. Unlike the countless archaeological finds he'd encountered in his 20-year career, this object defied every scientific understanding. Smooth as polished obsidian yet seemingly alive with an internal energy, it pulsed with a faint blue luminescence that seemed to respond to his touch. Commander, Dr. Vanessa Winters, the station's lead xenoarchaeologist, called from her workstation. The neural resonance readings are off the charts. Her holographic display flickered with complex mathematical patterns that danced and shifted with each moment Ryder's hand remained near the artifact. The station itself was a marvel of human engineering, a self-sustaining research facility built to withstand the most extreme planetary conditions. Massive thermal generators hummed beneath reinforced titanium floors, while advanced sensor arrays constantly scanned the surrounding terrain for potential threats. Ryder had seen his share of strange discoveries, but this was different. The artifact seemed to be more than just an object, it felt almost sentient. Its surface contained intricate micropatterns that shifted and realigned whenever he approached, creating complex geometric designs that no known technology could replicate. Analysis complete, the station's AI announced, its neutral tone contrasting with the excitement building in the room. Artifact composition, unknown. Material properties, non-terrestrial. Neural interface, responsive only to specific human genetic markers. Dr. Winters approached, her environmental suit marking her as a silhouette against the station's luminescent walls. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. The quantum signature suggests it's not just a technological artifact, it's a communication device. But a communication device for what? The question hung in the air, heavy with implication. Humanity had long suspected they were not alone in the universe, but this discovery suggested something far more profound. This wasn't just evidence of extraterrestrial life, this was a potential key to something much larger. Ryder's military training had prepared him for countless scenarios, but this moment felt different. The artifact seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat, as if establishing a connection beyond mere physical interaction. Run another diagnostic, he instructed, his voice steady despite the growing tension. I want to know everything about this object. Little did Commander Calloway know that the artifact was more than just a discovery. It was a beacon, a message from a forgotten chapter of cosmic history that would soon challenge everything humanity understood about their place in the universe. As the station's sensors continued their meticulous scan, the artifact's blue luminescence grew stronger, casting ethereal shadows across the research chamber. Something was awakening, something that had been waiting a very long time to be found. The quantum cipher. The interstellar research vessel Horizon's Edge cut through the inky blackness of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the distant starlight. Dr. Emmett Reyes stood in the holographic analysis chamber, his fingers dancing across translucent data streams that swirled around the artifact recovered from Horizon 7. Unlike most xenoarchaeologists, Emmett wasn't just a researcher, he was a maverick who had built his reputation on challenging established scientific paradigms. His olive skin and intense dark eyes reflected years of dedication to unraveling cosmic mysteries. The artifact from the remote research station had become his obsession, consuming every waking moment since its discovery. Computer, he called out, his voice crisp and authoritative, run quantum resonance analysis, pattern 37 delta. The ship's advanced AI, known as Nova, responded immediately. Holographic projections erupted around Emmett, revealing microscopic details of the artifact's surface. What had initially appeared as a simple obsidian-like object now revealed itself as a complex quantum-encoded communication matrix. Dr. Helena Rodriguez, Emmett's chief research assistant, entered the chamber. Her skepticism was palpable. We've been analyzing this for weeks, Emmett. What makes you think we're any closer to understanding it? Emmett's lips curved into a slight smile. Because we've been looking at it all wrong. This isn't just a communication device, it's a living data repository. The artifact pulsed with a soft blue light, almost as if responding to his words. Its surface began to shift, microscopic patterns realigning in complex geometric sequences that defied traditional mathematical models. Nova's voice cut through the silence. Quantum signature detected. Neural interface activated. A holographic projection burst to life, not the typical data stream they expected, but a three-dimensional map of star systems previously unknown to human cartography. Red lines connected various points, suggesting intricate pathways of communication or travel. Impossible, Helena whispered. Emmett leaned closer. The map showed systems far beyond humanity's current exploration range, with marker points that suggested advanced civilizations, or something more profound. These aren't just star charts, he muttered, tracing the holographic lines. They're a warning. As if triggered by his touch, the artifact's projection expanded. Scenes flickered into existence, glimpses of massive spatial conflicts, technologies beyond human comprehension, and something else. Something dark. Shadowy entities that seemed to consume entire star systems, leaving nothing but quantum echoes in their wake. The research vessel suddenly shuddered. Alarms blared throughout the ship's corridors. Quantum disturbance detected, Nova announced. External interference increasing. Source unknown. Helena rushed to the control panel. We're being pulled off our standard trajectory. Something's interfering with our navigation systems. Emmett's mind raced. The artifact wasn't just a passive object, it was actively responding to something. The quantum cipher was more than a communication device. It was a beacon. Activate emergency quantum shields, he commanded. Reroute all non-essential power to defensive systems. The ship's interior transformed. Protective energy fields materialized, creating a complex quantum barrier around the critical research sections. Emmett knew they were no longer simply conducting research, they were now at the center of something far more significant. A transmission broke through the ship's communication systems. The language was unlike anything in human linguistic databases, a complex series of mathematical harmonics that seemed to bypass traditional communication protocols. Nova, analyze transmission, Emmett instructed. The AI's response was immediate. Transmission contains multiple layers of quantum-encoded information. Partial translation suggests a warning. Images flooded the holographic display. Massive spatial constructs being consumed by dark, formless entities. Civilizations reduced to quantum fragments. And at the center of these visions, humanity, represented as a small but resilient spark of potential. They're tracking something, Emmett realized. Not us. Something within us. Helena looked puzzled. What do you mean? The artifact isn't just communicating, he explained, it's selecting. It chose to be found on that research station. It chose me to decode its message. The ship continued its uncharted journey, pulled by forces beyond their current understanding. The artifact pulsed more intensely, its blue light now casting an ethereal glow throughout the research chamber. Dr. Reyes understood now that they were no longer simple researchers. They had become something else, messengers, perhaps. Or the first line of defense against a threat humanity didn't yet comprehend. Prepare full data backup, he told Helena. Whatever happens, this information cannot be lost. As if in response, the artifact's quantum signature intensified. The ship's systems hummed with an energy that felt alive, intelligent, and urgently trying to communicate something crucial about humanity's place in a much larger, more dangerous cosmic narrative. The journey into the unknown had truly begun. Convergence point. The adaptive starship Meridian sliced through the quantum storm like a knife through liquid mercury. Captain Arya Novak gripped the command console, her cybernetic neural interface flickering with rapid-fire calculations as the ship navigated the treacherous cosmic environment. Beside her stood Krell Voss, a navigator from the Synthalian Diplomatic Corps, an alien ally whose crystalline exoskeleton reflected the ship's emergency lighting. His species was known for their unparalleled spatial navigation abilities, a talent that had become crucial in humanity's most challenging deep space missions. Storm intensity increasing, Krell reported, his multifaceted eyes scanning holographic data streams. Quantum disruption at 78% critical threshold. Aria's mind raced. The quantum storm was unlike anything in recorded stellar cartography. It wasn't a natural phenomenon, it was a defensive network. Something was protecting something incredibly important. Tactical projection, she commanded. The ship's AI, Sentinel, projected a three-dimensional map showing their precarious position. Massive energy signatures swirled around them like predatory currents, each wave threatening to tear the ship apart at the quantum level. Origin point of the storm, Aria muttered, it's not random. It's structured. Krell's crystalline fingers danced across the navigation console. Detecting multiple quantum resonance points. It's like a lock. A massive, multidimensional lock. The ship shuddered. Protective quantum shields flickered, struggling to maintain integrity against the storm's relentless assault. Years of joint human-alien exploration had prepared them for extreme conditions, but this was different. A transmission broke through the quantum interference. Fragmented. Encrypted. But distinctly non-human. Decrypt, Aria ordered. Sentinel's voice was calm despite the chaos. Partial translation, Guardians, approach, key, not ready. Krell's entire body tensed. Those linguistic fragments, they're older than any known communication protocol. This isn't just a defensive system. It's a test. The ship's quantum drive began to resonate with the storm's energy. Something was happening. The defensive network wasn't trying to destroy them, it was evaluating them. Memories flickered through Aria's enhanced neural interface. The years of tension between human explorers and various alien civilizations. The delicate balance of diplomatic relations. The constant struggle to prove humanity's worth in a vast, complex galactic community. We're not just passing through, she realized. We're being judged. Suddenly, the quantum storm's patterns changed. Massive energy constructs began to form around the meridian, not as weapons, but as some kind of elaborate scanning mechanism. Each wave of energy probed deeper, analyzing not just the ship's technological capabilities, but something more profound. Quantum signature matching, Sentinel announced. Detecting resonance with previous artifact transmissions. A holographic projection materialized on the bridge. Ancient star charts. Technological schematics far beyond current human understanding. And at the center, a symbol. A complex geometric pattern that seemed to pulse with its own intelligence. The quantum cipher, Krell whispered. It's not just a communication device. It's a key. The ship's systems began to change. Adaptive technologies that had been dormant suddenly activated. Quantum drives recalibrated. Defensive systems restructured themselves into configurations that defied current scientific understanding. We're being prepared, Aria said, her voice a mixture of wonder and concern. For what? The answer came not in words, but in a series of quantum pulses that transferred directly into their neural interfaces. Visions of cosmic conflicts. Ancient civilizations rising and falling. And at the center of it all, humanity. Not as conquerors. Not as victims. But as something else entirely. A potential. A hope. Krell's crystalline form began to resonate with the ship's quantum field. The defensive network, he explained, it's searching for something specific. A combination of technological capability and something more. Aria understood. Potential. Adaptability. The ability to evolve. The quantum storm began to part. Not violently. Not aggressively. But like a curtain being drawn back to reveal something hidden for millennia. Convergence point approaching, Sentinel announced. Quantum stability at 92% and rising. As the storm cleared, a massive structure emerged. Not a planet. Not a space station. Something else entirely. A construct that seemed to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensional layers. By the cosmic archives, Krell breathed, "We've found it." The Meridian approached the structure. Not as a threat. Not as an invader. But as a key fitting into an ancient lock. Their journey was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. The Nexus Protocol. The hidden planetary base hung suspended within a quantum-stabilized pocket of space, defying every known law of physics. Commanders Ryder Calloway and Dr. Emmett Reyes stood side by side, their combined expertise representing humanity's last hope against an impending extradimensional threat. The base, codenamed Prometheus Station, was a marvel of adaptive technology. Massive quantum dampeners hummed along its perimeter, creating a shield that could theoretically withstand direct attacks from multiple dimensions simultaneously. Holographic displays cascaded around them, each screen showing increasingly alarming data about the approaching threat. The quantum cipher was just the beginning, Emmett explained, his fingers dancing across a translucent control interface. Whatever is coming isn't just another alien invasion. We're talking about a complete dimensional incursion. Ryder's military training kicked in. Years of strategic planning condensed into a moment of crystal-clear focus. Break it down for me. Simple terms. Dr. Helena Rodriguez, who had accompanied them from the horizon's edge, brought up a complex series of dimensional maps. Imagine reality as a multi-layered fabric. These entities don't just want to invade, they want to unravel the entire cosmic tapestry. The base's AI, Prometheus, interrupted. Dimensional breach probability increasing. Current projection, 87% within the next 72 hours. A holographic representation materialized, dark, formless entities that seemed to consume dimensional space like a cancer. They weren't solid. They weren't even truly alive in any conventional sense. They were pure entropy, pure destruction. The artifacts we've discovered, Emmett continued, they're more than just communication devices. They're a warning system. A defensive network left behind by something. Someone who understood these entities long before we existed. Ryder studied the tactical displays. How do we fight something we can't even comprehend? Helena's fingers flew across another interface. That's where the Nexus Protocol comes in. It's not about fighting. It's about adaptation. The base began to transform. Quantum adaptive technologies shifted and realigned. Defensive mechanisms that combined human ingenuity with technologies recovered from multiple alien civilizations began to activate. We're not just preparing a defense, Emmett realized. We're creating a response mechanism that can evolve in real time. Prometheus's voice became more urgent. Dimensional signature detected. Preliminary breach forming in Sector 7. The base shuddered. Not from an external impact, but from internal recalibration. Entire sections began to restructure, adaptive technologies creating new defensive configurations faster than any traditional military system could process. Ryder looked at Emmett. Your research. The artifact from Horizon 7. How does it connect? A holographic projection erupted around them. The artifact's complex quantum signature began to overlay with the dimensional breach data. It wasn't just a communication device, it was a key. A key designed to interface with humanity's most fundamental characteristic. Adaptability. They were testing us, Helena whispered. All along. Every artifact. Every strange transmission. It was a test. The base's quantum shields began to pulse with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. Not just defensive, but reactive. Anticipatory. The Nexus Protocol, Prometheus announced, is more than a defensive strategy. It's an evolutionary response mechanism. Emmett's eyes widened with understanding. We're not just preparing to fight. We're preparing to transform. Sections of the base began to reconfigure. Technologies from different alien civilizations merged with human adaptive systems. It wasn't just a defensive strategy, it was a complete reimagining of how a civilization could respond to an existential threat. Incoming transmission, Prometheus reported. Source, unknown. The communication wasn't visual. It wasn't audio. It was a pure quantum transmission that bypassed traditional communication methods, interfacing directly with their neural systems. Images flooded their consciousness. Civilizations rising and falling. Cosmic conflicts that spanned multiple dimensions. And at the center of it all, humanity. Not as conquerors. Not as victims. But as something else. A potential. A hope. They've been watching, Ryder said, his voice a mixture of revelation and determination. Waiting to see if we could become something more. The base continued its transformation. Quantum shields expanded. Adaptive technologies merged and evolved. What had started as a defensive installation was becoming something entirely new. A beacon. A response. A promise. Dimensional breach imminent, Prometheus announced. But there was something else in its tone. Not fear. Not resignation. Anticipation. Resonance of humanity. The final battle unfolded at the edge of known space, where reality itself seemed to fracture and bend. Massive starships from multiple allied civilizations formed a desperate defensive line, their quantum shields interlinked in a complex network that represented the most advanced collaborative effort in galactic history. Captain Arya Novak stood on the bridge of the Meridian, her neural interface blazing with incoming tactical data. Beside her, Krell Voss monitored the dimensional breach, his crystalline form reflecting the chaotic light of approaching entropy entities. Breach expanding, Krell reported, his multifaceted eyes tracking impossible geometric patterns. Dimensional instability increasing exponentially. The entities weren't just invading. They were consuming reality itself, a darkness that devoured not just matter, but the very fabric of existence. Shapeless, formless, they moved with a predatory intelligence that defied comprehension. Commander Ryder Calloway's voice broke through the communication network. All units, prepare quantum resonance protocol. This is not just a battle. This is our evolutionary moment. Dr. Emmett Reyes, coordinating from Prometheus Station, began the final activation sequence. The quantum artifacts recovered from multiple worlds began to resonate, creating a network of energy that pulsed with humanity's collective potential. They're more than weapons, Emmett explained to Helena Rodriguez. They're a blueprint. Our blueprint. The Allied fleet represented a marvel of interspecies cooperation. Human adaptive technologies merged with Synthalian quantum navigation systems. Crystalline defensive networks from the Voronezh civilization integrated with human neural adaptive interfaces. What had once been separate civilizations now moved as a single, unified organism. Prometheus, the advanced AI coordinating the defensive network, began its final calculation. Dimensional integrity at critical threshold. Evolutionary response mechanism activated. The battle wasn't just happening in physical space. It was occurring across multiple dimensional layers, with humanity serving as the pivot point of a cosmic transformation. Arya watched as the entropy entities approached. They weren't solid. They weren't truly alive. They were pure destruction, a cancer that consumed dimensional space. Quantum resonance at maximum, Krell reported. The first wave of entities struck the defensive line. But instead of breaking through, something unexpected happened. The combined technologies of the Allied fleet began to adapt. Shields morphed. Weapons reconfigured. Each attack was analyzed, understood, and responded to faster than the entities could comprehend. Their learning, Helena realized. The entire fleet is becoming a single, adaptive organism. Emmett's voice crackled through the communication network. It's not about defeating them. It's about understanding them. Evolving beyond their ability to consume. The quantum artifacts began to pulse. Not as weapons. Not as tools. But as something more profound. A message. A potential. Ryder watched the tactical displays, understanding now what the ancient civilizations had been preparing them for. This wasn't just a battle. This was a test of humanity's fundamental nature. Adaptability. Cooperation. Potential. Full quantum resonance, he commanded. The fleet transformed. Ships merged their defensive capabilities. Neural interfaces linked across species, creating a collective consciousness that was greater than any individual civilization. The entropy entities pressed their attack. But with each moment, the Allied fleet became something more. Not just a defensive line. Not just a military force. An evolutionary response. Prometheus's voice cut through the chaos. Dimensional analysis complete. Entropy entities represent a fundamental threat to complex adaptive systems. Response, total systemic transformation. The battle shifted. What had begun as a defensive action became something else entirely. The Allied fleet wasn't just fighting. They were communicating. Understanding. Evolving. Arya felt it first. A connection that transcended physical limitations. The neural interfaces began to merge, creating a collective consciousness that saw the entropy entities not as a threat, but as a problem to be solved. We are more than our individual parts, Krell said, his crystalline form resonating with the collective energy. The quantum artifacts reached critical resonance. Images flooded every neural interface, glimpses of potential futures. Civilizations rising. Dimensional barriers understood and transcended. Humanity not as a single species, but as a catalyst for cosmic evolution. Dimensional breach stabilizing, Prometheus announced. The entropy entities began to change. Not destroyed. Not defeated. But understood. Transformed. As the final quantum pulse swept through the defensive line, something remarkable happened. The battle ended not with destruction, but with comprehension. Ryder looked at the tactical displays. The entropy entities were retreating, not from force, but from a fundamental shift in the cosmic understanding. We did it, Helena whispered. But Emmett knew the truth. This was just the beginning. Humanity had passed the test. And the universe would never be the same.